Good morning, nation. Keith and C. Marty Fit joining you here on where's my camera? Right there, C. Marty. Friday morning. What's going on, pal?
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, man?
Hey, buddy, we got a guest today. Faraz Jamal is joining us. I think he's joining us from over the pond. I think it might be like the middle of the day for him.
Yeah, it's not as early as it is here.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Pretty early.
Today, Faraz Jamal joining Keith and C. Marty Fit. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends and C. Marty Fit. Faraz Jamal joining us from Germany. Hugo Boss Guy. Shaping tomorrow with Faraz Jamal. Former computer scientist guy. Honest to God, like, hey, how do you take the computer scientist hat off, C. Marty, and go, okay, I'm taking the computer scientist hat off, and I'm going to become the manager, the leader, the boss. I'm going to have to ask him that question. How do you go from one to the other? I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out. We ask good questions here, Keith.
Oh, we ask great questions here, Marty.
We ask good questions, man.
Yeah. Hey, it's coming up 16 minutes in. We got the accountability check-in to make sure everybody's checking into the day to get their day started. Because, see, Marty, we both know something's coming up here in the next 7 days. We're teasing. Is it January or is it June? What's around the corner here, man?
I don't know, man. What's going on? It's January. June? Doesn't even sound right.
Is it maybe January coming around the corner, see, Marty?
Oh, yeah. That stuff you were talking about yesterday. Yeah.
That's what I was talking about yesterday. Yeah, because you, my friend, and me, we are going to give human beings around the planet the complete grace and permission to still win 2024.
There's a lot of time left.
There is. Right now, there's still more than half the year left. So somebody tuning in right now and they're thinking, what's Keith and C. Marty Fit talking about? Over the next 7 days, and I'm suspecting probably by next Friday, you're all going to hear the full offer from me and C. Marty, which is we have a goal. We have a goal to, who's texting me right now? No, I know. I got to hide his alerts. We have a goal to help you, Business Athlete Nation, to help you, LinkedIn Nation, to win back 2024. And we're going to offer up this idea, this concept, this belief, this program. It's called January Resolutions. Keith and C. Marty Fit and our AI friend, Max.
It sounds interesting to me. We got to work on Max.
We got to. We're thinking Max is going to get smarter over the next few days as Sam and the gang open up the.
I hope so.
The Chat GPT improvements, but January resolutions from the Business Athlete Performance Lab. We are designing it to help you achieve your January goals that you've already failed at. That's it. We want you to come join Keith and C. Marty for 100 days. And again, I'm just floating the details out. We're going to get.
What does that consist of? Real quickly, Keith. We got the fitness. We got the business. Working on your profile, mindset. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Come on, because here's what I'm thinking, C. Marty. I don't know where you're getting on LinkedIn or other platforms, Instagram, X. I don't know where you're going to get you
ain't getting it on Instagram.
No. So I don't know though where. So in my experience, most coaching programs, most motivational, whatever term you want to call, is either you're joining the fitness guy, C. Marty, or you're joining the business guy, C. Marty, or you're joining the LinkedIn person, C. Marty. And what we're saying is what? You're going to get it all with us.
Everything. So
we're going to offer you a holistic opportunity. I'm just going to say the bad word, to get your shit together. Sorry. We're going to give you the opportunity. I know, C. Marty, there's kids tuning in right now.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm Canadian. I got to apologize.
I'm not.
You're learning. That's just what we do here in Canada. Oh, I'm sorry.
I picked up on it a while ago. I just had to say it today.
I know you did. It's a Canadian thing, C. Marty. So more details coming up in the next few days before we invite Faraz Jamal into the lab here. More details around January. We really want to build a community, an active, fun community. Michael Kinitsky's joining us this morning. So, C. Marty, do you want to address that?
100K push-up goals. 100K? Hey, man.
Ken,
let's
Ken's been
let's
to the
let's
lab before.
yeah, let's start with 100.
All right, Ken, we're going to get you on the docket, man. Spread the love. We are going to be launching January. People are just texting me this morning. See, Marty, I'm like, what? Stop texting me, everybody. I'm on my show right now. So we are, here comes Konetsky. There we go, 273. Yep, for the year.
That's actually pretty interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, and here he's at 273 a day.
Oh, that's it. That's not bad. That's easy.
Hey, Jimmy, there's a soundbite for you if you're listening right now.
That's easy.
Too. So we're gonna have to ask Faraz Jamal. Actually, maybe we'll put him on the spot here, and we're gonna have to ask him when he comes in. Will he be doing 275 a day? See, Marty, just so he can beat Michael Konetsky.
Let's see. We'll find out.
Maybe we can do a challenge here in the lab. Konetsky's set the bar 273. Maybe somebody wants to. Maybe we got to do 300 a day.
Yeah. That's doable. That's easy.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
30 push-ups 10 times a day. You got 24 hours. You could do that.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah. I already lost. That's why I'm here.
Oh, I love you joining in, pal. You know what? I'm a big fan of Michael Konetsky. Just a quick second. He checked in on me last, and I've gotten to know Michael C. Marty over LinkedIn over the last few months. Good human being, man. Great human being. He's been so kind, so gracious. And last night, out of the blue, and you know what, Nation? I'm gonna encourage you all to listen to me right now. Out of the blue, last night, Michael says, "Hey, what's going on? You okay?" Just checked in. You know, see, Marty, how good that feels when somebody just checks in on you. You haven't talked to him in a few days, and you just get a note saying, "Hey," and he said, "Hey, you've been pretty quiet lately." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been actually really busy. I've just been grinding out the work." But I say it to you because we're all about accountability here in the morning. To those that are tuning in today, see, Marty, why don't you just text your buddy? Just say, "Hey, what's going on? You okay?"
Yeah, check on someone.
Exactly. It's a pretty powerful thing to do when somebody's not expecting it and you get a message from somebody who you care about or who's in your circle or who's in your orbit. And all of a sudden, see, Marty, you're in the middle of a workout, you're in the middle of something, and your phone pops up and it's just a buddy saying, "Hey, you're good, man. You're good." You're like, "Oh, dude, this guy's thinking about me."
And one thing, like if I'm going to vent to someone or open up, I always try to check on them first before I put my shit on them.
Oh, that's awesome. Of course.
I'm big on that. Don't just come to me with your stuff and you ain't ask how my day is. Am I frustrated? Am I dealing with anything?
Yes.
You're not gonna believe what happened. Like, oh, come on, man.
All right. So see, Marty, I got another comment from Ken coming up here. So I guess we're gonna have to do this now, pal.
Step it up, Keith. Step it up.
Kenny, you're going to be getting a call this weekend from you, man. Making sure
you're doing, it up. You
doing your check on him. I guess I have to.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to check now. I'm going to check on your push-up goals now.
Oh man. See, Marty, why don't we bring in our friend Faraz Jamal here to the lab here? What's going on, Faraz? We're having some fun with our check-ins. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
What's up, Faraz? Doing well. How are you?
All good, man.
That's good.
So, see, Marty, we got introduced to Faraz Jamal here. We got introduced to him about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, during Krosky's Creator Rankings. Mm-hmm. John Krosky nominated Faraz, and he got on the list. And, you know, that old viral thing happened with Krosky's like, this person's cool. And I see Faraz, I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty interesting. He's hanging out in Germany. He's working for, see, Marty, just some little brand called Hugo Boss. You might have heard of them, eh?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I think they sell like underwear and socks or something, like pretty expensive ones.
They sell cologne too, I think. Yeah,
I think the best way for us
to do everything, guys, everything from head to toe. It's a lifestyle brand, so anything you guys need.
That's awesome. So, dude, why don't we just jump right into this for us with Keith and C. Marty? We're gonna ask the question we always like to ask, which is, C. Marty, who is Faraz Jamal?
So, Faraz Jamal is a proud Gen Z living in Germany for the last 8 years. That's where I did my bachelor's as well. I was originally on the way to the US, and this is where I pit stopped and stayed for my bachelor's. However, that's how I ended up in Germany. Long story, but I did my education here after high school, and then obviously started as a developer, which is in my bio, right? So I was a programmer. Yes. I'll go into the history of how the switch happened, but just a little bit of who is Faraz Jamal. And now I'm working at Hugo Boss, covering the retail space. And I'm let's say you could say, a specialist in footwear and accessories and bodywear and hosiery, the underwears and the undergarments you mentioned. So that's also one of my products. So I have this category of the business. So I cover both brands, Hugo and Boss. A lot of people don't know that these are two separate brands, right? So I cover both of them: footwear, accessories, bodywear, and hosiery. So basically, in a simpler word, I'm like developing their business in the European market in our retail stores.
That's exceptional. See, Marty?
No, that's pretty cool. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, from Pakistan. Okay.
Yeah. So I did my education till high school there, and that is when I was going abroad for my bachelor's, and that's where in Germany I ended up.
Okay. So you say you were headed to the U.S. What was the goal? What sparked your move to want to come to the U.S.
Oh,
before
so I
the
mean,
pit stop in Germany?
so in my, let's say, group of friends, and also just psychologically, for me, like a good university for, let's say, doing my bachelor's were this list of universities that were in the US. So let's say, I don't know if you guys are aware of the Common App and the whole process of applying the American universities. So I applied 19 in the US, and then there was one American German university here in Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like the model of education that they have in the US, and also the degree that I wanted to do was in these universities. And also, again, then the language is not an issue because it's not like in the European universities, English is the language for the US. So because of these different reasons, US was the only country where I was headed, except for this one university that I applied here in Germany. And then I had 100% merit scholarship because the fee structures in the US are very high compared to, let's say, the German system. But I was in a private university here as well, but I got a 100% scholarship. So that was the decision changer for from the US to the Germany. But yeah, it was
That
just
only makes
for
sense.
the US that was making taking me there. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that only makes sense.
yeah, I wasn't paying anything. So
Yeah. I would have done that too.
I actually got paid to study. So, huh?
I would have stayed right in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. So rather than having a student loan, I was rather getting paid to study. So that was the change for the country, you could say. But the education system was still the US one, right? So
Good for you. Good for you. What's shaking, Abdullah? Pakistan represent. Joining me here in the lab, joining us in the lab this morning. That's awesome. Thanks for jumping in. What's going on, my friend? So,
he
go ahead.
he is a friend of mine from uni as well, because I just shared the link. I think that's why he
Yeah.
jumped in. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we had the same scholarship, basically, me and him.
Oh,
That's
that's
how we
really
met.
was computer science as you were growing up. Was that I know that was that a parent thing for us, or was that your legitimate interest, or was like mom and dad are like, Faraz, you're going into computer science, and you're
No,
like,
no,
oh, okay,
you're right. You're right. So generally,
yes,
especially in this part of the world, the parents have two options for you. Either you become an engineer
yeah,
or you become a doctor. The last option would be you become a lawyer. So considering that, I'm none of those three, right? Because computer science does not directly fall under the
yes.
engineering umbrella, even though it is. So considering those facts, I think I went out of the blue. But yeah, I was really happy with what plans I had and what I was doing. So they were very much on board. But yeah, typically I should be either a doctor or an engineer.
I should. I see, Marty. Faraz, I think it's a culture. I think it's just a world thing. I know
Well,
growing up, my parents were like, okay, Keith, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. I'm looking at them like, probably not. But okay, if that's what you think I'm going to be.
yeah.
See, Marty, were your parents on the same path with you? Like
I
you're going to be this?
I deal with it to this day. So podcast. I get it all the time. So it is what it is.
It's how it works.
Just got to deal with it, man. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's really cool. That's funny. Hey, listen, we're coming to the 50-minute mark after the hour here. Why don't we jump into our accountability check-in before we continue our conversation with Faraz, see Marty. So it's at this point in the show that we like to offer up. Michael Kanitsky offers up this comment before we go any further. In my family, it was doctor, accountant, or a failure.
Yeah, I did too. Michael. I chose the failure.
Faraz chose Hugo Boss. That was somewhere on the list. Hey, so he's saying to his parents, okay, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be a computer scientist. I'm going to choose a big global brand and I'm going to go and rock it. He's like, yeah, I'll go do Hugo Boss.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's come back and talk about Hugo Boss and that whole situation here in a few moments. But before we do that, gentlemen, Faraz, we're going to do this here. Where's my screw? So today's accountability check-in is about, I have it here on my phone, so I'm just going to do it here. It is all about this idea that falling short, guys, part of the game, right? It's, there it is right here. Yeah, so falling short is part of the game. You have to embrace it. So you already this with sports, man. You're going to miss shots, right? Like you're going to get to the basketball net and you're going to miss shots along the way.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to watch the idea fail miserably. Marty, I'm sure you've had many ideas in your head where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then it fails. Faraz, you too, you're like, okay, I'm going to get this done. And then you go down this journey, and not about failure. You're getting this feedback. Okay, it's just not working. So I think, but the message at this point in the show is just to get people going here thinking about this idea that you're probably going to have some obstacles along the way. You might fail along the way, but what's not okay is settling. Don't settle. Don't give up. I hate this, what I'm going to say next. See, Marty, I hate accepting mediocrity. I think mediocrity kills people. I think mediocrity and complacency is the kiss of death for a business. If you're a business leader right now and you got some people working and they're just going through the motions, that's complacency, man. Like this, like you don't even know it, and this is what's happening to your business right now. It's just subtly going down because mediocrity is creeping in. Hey, Faraz, you know it. Okay, there's the sentence. I'm going to dot 99% of the I's, but not the 10th I. I'm just going to leave a few T's uncrossed.
And it comes back later on, yeah.
It does. So I think it's really worrying about accepting mediocrity, because if you do, you're going to wake up with regret one day. You absolutely are. You're going to go by and go, oh man, why didn't I do things differently?
That's like the price we were talking about yesterday.
Isn't it true?
The price on the back end.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly it. And Konetsky's chiming in saying, I guess that's where I leave you, mediocre out. Thanks for joining in there, Konetsky. I appreciate your comments here and your humor. I always love having you here in the lab. But what we're talking about today is don't accept mediocrity, because if you do, you're going to wake up with regret. And if you're okay with that, it's time to face whatever is holding you back. Do the one thing. So today, especially Marty, on advance of Memorial Day weekend in the United States, think about the one thing, take the leap, and then have fun doing it. Like, just embrace the fun along the way and go ahead and start doing it, man. Just go and do it. And when everything doesn't work out, here's what it is. I'm not going to swear. I lived, I did it, I tried, and I got feedback. So really, Marty, you got one of two choices today, right? Over the weekend, you can either accept the mediocrity you're in right now. You can accept the normalness of just getting shit done along the way, or you can say, nah, you know what? I'm done sitting around. I had a conversation yesterday, Faraz and C Marty, with a guy who called me. He's like, I'm in a spot. I'm like, all right, let's get going. Let's go. He's like, yeah, I need that. Let's go. Because mediocrity creeps in and it's hard to get out of mediocrity. Mm-hmm. So this morning, falling short, see Marty, missing the basketball shot, throwing the touchdown pass and it not even hitting the receiver. That is going to happen. Accept it, embrace it, try it again and move on. See Marty, comments to close that up.
No, absolutely agree. It's part of the game. You got to get comfortable with failure, get comfortable taking that L. That's the only way you're going to get better. When you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. That's all I got to say.
It's true. What do you think about that, Faraz? I see you commenting on that right now as well. I can see you nudging. I can see these words resonating with you, and I suspect they do because of your journey, how you ended up in Germany. Comment on this for us.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, you just keep pushing as much as you can, because sometimes it's not the goal that you are ending up for, but it will still get you somewhere that you didn't expect, but has great results for that thing, right? So giving up is never an option because there is no other way. So I agree with what you said, and also see Marty, that you just can't stop, because once you're down, the only way is up. And I've seen this over and over again. And I trade a lot of crypto, and I look at this as a chart, because the chart cannot keep going up all day. It has to come down for it to go up again. So that's life as well for every individual. You have to come down to go up. And if you keep going consistently, that chart does not go that long high up. So agree, can't give up.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy, because I think we're often, and I will admit this, gentlemen, I'll admit this right now. I have been, so in my fitness journey, I'm working on my VO2 max and working on increasing it, because that's going to make me live longer, see Marty, as we talk about. But it's interesting, right, gentlemen? Because it's not always just like this. There's been a point of time here for the last few months where I was actually like this for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, no. You mean it's not always going to do this all the time? Okay, I guess I got to work a little harder for it to go from here like this. Like, it's just this idea of accepting that life and anything you're doing is not going to constantly be going up.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Got to learn to accept that, because it's that idea of walking 2 steps, taking a step back to walk 3 steps forward, taking 2, working 4. But the moment you just accept that's how it works, that's just what you're always going to do. You got to find a way to take 2 back and then move 5 forward, take 2 back, move 7 forward. It's that whole idea.
Well, right? I took 2 back yesterday on the Versa Climber. I'm not sure if you did that before. You done a Versa Climber before?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to sit down after that one. I took 2 steps back for sure yesterday. So I gotta bounce back today.
I think we need to get some video of C Marty on the Versa climber going up and coming down.
Yeah, I'll get a video for you. I'll get a video for you. I got you.
So for us, let's continue your journey. Let's continue your conversation. You end up in Germany, and are you immediately thrust into Hugo Boss, or where does your journey start before you end up at Hugo?
Yeah, as I said, I came to this American German college here
Yeah.
in the north of Germany, and my major was computer science.
Mhm.
And at that time, there was no plans of going into fashion as a career because I had no education in fashion. Right, I was a
Mhm.
tech guy. Let's say in my head was like never came that there's obviously an IT department in every fashion company as well in case you want to use that skill set in a fashion company. Right. However, I had this passion of clothing, like looking fresh for sure, and that always stayed, which will include sneakers as well and apparel. So I was obviously following these brands just for my personal passion, not as a as a career opportunity, right? So in these 3 years, I did my major in computer science, but at the same time, I did my minor in industrial engineering and management, because in my head, all the decisions in a business are made by the business side, right? It might be controversial for some people from the IT side listening, but in my experience, in my perspective, the top line decisions in a company are made by the business side of the people. And so I wanted to be this bridge between tech and business, right? So I studied computer science, which gave me the base for being a tech guy. And then I studied this industrial engineering and management to learn the business side of things. So this was already there in my head, but I wasn't working my way towards, let's say, a business role, right, in my career. So then after graduation, as normal, I started working as a developer, start off. And a couple of months, 3 months in, started to realize that I cannot do such kind of a career for the rest of my life, because I want to be close to the product. So whatever I'm working with or working on, I should be able to relate to it, and that is how I can convert it for a customer as well, right? So if I can believe in something myself, how can I do it for someone else? Like, I have a great passion for automotive industry as well, but in that I would be working on a small component that is a part of a bigger thing, which will it would not give me the validation of the business decisions that I'm making in my role. So considering these different things, the passion, the career prospect of being in this kind of a B2C role, so not a B2B, but a B2C role. So this was started making me think of moving into more creative role or a creative industry. And that was fashion. So now, considering that I have no education in fashion, I can't design anything or make a product. So how do you get there? So at the time, I remember a friend of mine sent me this link to a role in Hugo Boss, right? Because from the name it still sounds very English, right? Because boss
Mhm.
is not a very German sounding word. So you would say, okay, it's a British company maybe. But it turned out it is where I'm living right now. So I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And I went in for the interview, and that is how my career in Boss started. And in the beginning, I was a business analyst, like more towards the analytical side of things. So using my tech skills, and slowly I've been growing more towards the product, and still learning. And there's a way to go. You can never be like, and I think no matter how much experience you have, there's always more to learn. So considering that, I'm still learning. But right as of now, on top of those tech things, the business analyst and all of that, I've learned a lot about product. And so, for example, you could show me a shoe from a distance and I can tell you what kind of a business impact can it have. Like, so translating the product into business and the business into product, this is what I wanted to learn, and this is the path I am on right now. And the specialization is in this field of shoes accessory and body and hosiery. I've obviously worked with apparel before as well, so like suiting, casual clothing, from jeans to trousers to shorts, everything in that sense. But I've spent more time into shoes and accessories than I have into apparel.
Huh, interesting. See Marty.
You started off in the analytical role, right? That's what. Okay, so if you can talk about some of the challenges from switching over from being more on the tech side and moving more into the business side, because there might be someone watching who might be in the same situation you were in. They might be struggling to make that jump. And
Yeah,
yep.
so I agree. There will be challenges, but the I would say the upper hand you would have as a tech guy is that you're already very analytical. Because in order to be a developer or designing infrastructures of a system, you have to be super analytical. And when you reach that point, you've already solved so many issues and so many different problems that has made your critical thinking really advanced, right?
Yep.
So if you are already a tech person, you have this critical thinking and this problem solving aspect on a very complex level. So already that is covered. Then now when we come to the business side, the things that are missing are would be, let's say, the business lingo, the understanding of what how to make a business successful, like all the itbts of it, including the lingo, including the experience that comes with it. And
Mhm.
how I learned those things was that I just attached myself to these people who already had this knowledge and
Yep.
asked them, why are you doing this, why are you doing this? And if I didn't do that, obviously I'm lucky that I was surrounded by such people who were so supportive in educating me. So the challenge is, yes, that you will be having this knowledge gap, but that knowledge gap can be filled very easily, either by you studying more or surrounding yourself with people who are already doing it. So all the knowledge that I developed, obviously I did my own research, I read, I watched videos, but also the people that were there that were taking those actions, and I was questioning them, why do you do this, why do you do that? And by doing so, in a couple of years, which you could say is fast forwarded, because people go through a proper educational system in order to reach these goals, right? So a couple of years of, say, without going to a university, you could develop these skill sets by just sheer willpower. It's not impossible.
Working for a global prestigious brand like Hugo Boss would have benefits. People are like, oh, Faraz works for Hugo. I see you shaking your head. So are you like, no, there's actually no benefits. I get no discount on anything. But before I wrap up my question here, working for a big global brand immediately has people peek their ears and eyes up. Go, oh, okay, for a big global, it's pretty cool. So then there's some assumptions that come with that. He's probably well dressed. He's probably got the I's dotted, the T's crossed. There's this perception of the fashion industry. Is I see you moving back.
Oh,
Is
let me.
yeah. As you've got into it, do you find yourself loving, enjoying? Had you always enjoyed fashion? Is it a big part of you now, Faraz, or is it just your job?
I'm addicted, man. I would put it like that. If I don't go, I start scratching my body, missing out on the hit. But no, man, the as you said, yes, global companies come with certain benefits.
Mhm.
Uh, but then, especially in the sense of fashion, it is global. But when, because we are a B2C company where you're selling a certain lifestyle to the customer, right?
Yes.
So if I am not able to live that lifestyle, how can I sell it to you? So
Yes.
considering that, the life at Boss is incredible. And so far, I have not seen an alternate. Like, whenever you talk to someone, like, I look left, I look right, there is no comparison. Why is there no comparison? You could start from the EDBTs, just like the campus. It's like a boutique. When you walk in, like, it's everything is super fancy. Like, you like want to sit there, you want to work there. Like, they have a five-star restaurant inside, which is like with
Wow.
five-course meal, fine dine. You can book it, you go sit there, because we have like big celebrities come to the campus as well. You have to have certain things like that. Then you have different events happening all the time. Like every Wednesday is a after work. So a DJ comes in, we have a fancy bar. So people get together every Wednesday, let out some stress, hang out with their colleagues, people from other teams. So these are just some small things that are happening. Then obviously discounts for apparel. I'm a walking billboard nowadays, and thank you to that, because I love the product and I have the opportunity to get that. Because this jacket is $1,000, I would never buy that. I'm at certain career in my life, I cannot afford that. But when I can, obviously, I wouldn't think about blink, think before buying that thing. So considering this, I'm very grateful that my wardrobe is dressed by Boss, and the product that I work on is the one that I wear. So that is the big addiction that you could say that I have. That what I work on is what I use myself, and that is what I can talk to you about as well. So just a few benefits to mention, and then obviously we have some a big party culture, like the Christmas party or a summer party,
Yeah.
and it's the talk of the country. Like, it's so grand. There is a video on my LinkedIn from the Christmas party. You should check it out. It is just incredible, man. Like, there is no alternate. It's like you could imagine it like a Met Gala or something. Everybody is dressed to the perfection, and the organization of the event and the whole brand experience that you get is just incredible. So yes, what people think, I think it's way more than that, because that's what they have to provide in order to. So like we have this motto: live like a boss.
Yeah.
So if you have to live like a boss, I have to live like a boss to be able to translate it for you, that, okay, this is living like a boss. So for that reason, we have a great employee experience in our company.
That's interesting. Say, see Marty Fit before I toss to you. So now, man, we now know why all the Hugo Boss stuff is so expensive. Because we're all on the team, we're just having parties, man. They're just
No,
throwing
no,
parties
that's
for
not the reason.
celebrities. They're having this great time in Germany, and they're thinking, all right, we're just going to charge an extra couple $100 for Keith and C Marty to buy those underwear so we can have the party. Like what?
No, the price is fully justified because, for example, I would not, as I said, I'm wearing Boss because
Yes,
it's not
I
that it's
tease.
cheap, right? It's even with discounts, you have to pay a certain amount, but it's the quality. For example, this jacket has I don't know if you guys know about the Italian fashion house called Xenia.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So now this is a Boss jacket, but the fabric is from Xenia, right? So it's like a
Nice.
collaboration between two big fashion houses, and the product that comes out of it, you cannot find it anywhere else because things like this don't happen everywhere, right? So it's a big Italian fashion house with a big German DNA in like the suiting world and the fashion, right? Coming
Yeah.
together. So the value for money you for sure get, but obviously how brand strategies around this work, right? So yes, we do party a lot, but we do get results as well.
Marty.
Can you talk about what was like the wow moment, a celebrity you met, or maybe like a certain story with a celebrity? You don't have to mention a celebrity if you don't want to, but just I always like to hear stories and do a deeper dive into
Yeah.
things like this.
So I haven't met him, but I like saw him very close by. Was
Hmm.
David Beckham. So he came on campus. Then Naomi Campbell, for example, she was on campus. Then there's these German football stars that come that we have sponsors. I don't know if you guys know Cruz from the German team. So there are German football players coming in, and there's German TV stars all the time. But the wow factor for me is the whole branding experience, man. Like from the tissue paper to the posters on the wall, everything will be custom to that event. So it's
Wow.
this whole branding experience that is like really mind blowing. That then it actually translates that, okay, how just these small details can leave such a big impact.
Mhm.
Let's say I assume
Yeah.
some kind of a customized part of your show, you put it on something, it doesn't look like much, but the impact, let's say, it has for me when I come to your show is pretty huge because I'm like, okay, wow, this is a full experience.
I'm appreciative of you saying that for us. I've been fortunate through my time to experience some luxury brands and purchase some luxury brands, although I just like to get into my 2008 rusty 300,000 kilometer Jeep instead of all the fancy stuff. But my point is, I when you're introduced to these luxury brands, I like looking, especially in especially in the clothing world for us. I like looking at the stitching. I like looking inside the jacket. I like looking at the buttons. I like looking at the
Lining and all of that.
exactly because that to me is what you're paying for. That's the detail that most businesses, in my experience, fail at.
100%.
Right? It's the idea of cutting the extra potato, the extra minute to cut the extra potato to put some more fries on the plate. Sorry, see Marty Fit, to give that customer
Come
that
on, man.
value to get the extra value. Or for us in the fashion world, it's taking the extra 20 minutes, half an hour to go find a different stitch color, stitch the inside of the jacket a red instead of a blue or instead of the white. Those little things, man,
They go a long way.
that's how you increase the value of your
Yeah,
product.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I fully
Nobody
agree.
really pays attention to it, but that is the how you do it. You're like, okay, I'm going to take the stitching of this jacket. I'm going to stitch it differently than everything else on the outside. Faraz going to notice it and say, oh, no other jacket's done like this. I'm going to buy this jacket. Right.
But that comes with either experience, like either you're really
Yes.
into clothing or you studied about it, right? Because there
Yes.
was a point where I could, like, you could be wearing anything and I would not know what went into it. But now, let's say I look at your a shoe or a t-shirt, or just like when you tap some, go for a hug and tap someone on the back, just by the touch of the feel, I already start getting an idea what kind of fabric it is, what kind of work went to it. So this kind of things comes with experience, as you said. And now one of the examples which you mentioned, okay, we have a button here, right? Okay, that's it. But then they stitch it up with a small button on the back to make sure it lasts longer, it doesn't break off. So it is these tiny details which you said, which increases the obviously the quality of the product, and obviously convinces the one that understands it. And then just on top of the product as well, it's the whole experience that goes around it when you walk into the
Yeah.
store, the whole packaging, the way the sales assistants treat you. They bring you a coffee which has your custom name on it. So It's this whole experience that you're paying for, and which convinces and keeps, let's say, a community for a brand as well. But yeah, quality is the key. And as you said, not many luxury brands are acing at it. It's overly priced items just for the logo, you could say. But you could say here, there's no logos. It's just the quality that we're wearing.
So I love this idea that we're moving into, and I'd like to ask you about this. Is this idea of what's the word? Not fast fashion, the opposite, which is
Many, you mean like all many brands?
yeah, but the hidden fashion, the
Hidden
this idea of there's a word that that society has adopted right now. It's escaped me, but it's this idea of having luxury goods, no logos on it. Like
Exactly.
just like logos, real like just maybe something hidden inside the jacket somewhere, but you only know
Yeah, yeah.
because of the quality of the material. That's the thing these days, isn't it, Faraz? Is society trending to less logos, less like prints, and more of a I want to have good quality, but I don't want to advertise that I'm wearing like a big Hugo Boss shirt? Because I know we went through a time where big bold Hugo, big bold Louis Vuitton, big bold brand letters were everywhere. That seems to be less and less. Am I correct?
I agree. And one testament for that is, if we look into the numbers, like say now, currently the whole market as a general is suffering a bit. Not the stock market is not doing the best. So there's a bit of a fear in the markets generally, as a buyer's point of view and as a company's point of view. And now when the Q1 results came out, for example, I think if I'm not wrong, Gucci as a brand is down 40%. And this is now one example of a
Wow.
brand that does not do clean old money, or let's say hidden luxury fashion. So this is a, from my point of view, is a testament to this concept change. And at the same time, when there are these brands like Xenia, Loro Piana, the ones that are into this logoless fashion, they are growing year by year. Even in such a tough market, they're growing. So it is a testament to that. But at the same time, you cannot move fully into one direction or the other. As at Boss, we are providing 100% lifestyle brand, right? And
Mhm.
there are customers who like to wear the logos. Like there are a few hoodies where I wear the logo. You know how there's this
Yes.
black hoodie with a Nike logo on, or a tick
Yes.
on, things like that, or a small subtle thing. But again, there's a market for those kind of things still there. It sells like hotcakes. And then there's still a market for this logoless brands. So now, as I mentioned earlier, Hugo and Boss are two different brands, right? Then within Boss, we have different categories. So like Boss is a premium, like a more classy brand. Hugo is more driven for a younger customer. Two differences, yeah. I will also be making videos about this because I don't think people have a lot of clarity on this two brand strategy.
I
But
did
you
not
will
know
just,
that.
I didn't know either.
yeah. So when you see a Boss store and it says BOSS on it, that is only Boss. There will be no Hugo inside it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this also, this clarity is now coming. I'll go into detail a little bit now. Is like coming from the like the brand identity change that we had in 2022. Because if you remember back in the day, we used to have, let's say, the logo as Boss, and underneath it used to say Hugo Boss.
Mhm.
So that was the confusion it caused, because it said the whole brand name under the individual brand's name. But now it's either Boss or Hugo, complete separation. The color identities, the whole concept is completely separate. It has been like this for almost 20 years, but now it's a bit more vivid.
I think I
So
only been the boss.
yeah, yeah. Boss is the bigger part, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think I've only been the boss.
boss is like, so then under Boss we have different categories, right? So originally we used to have Boss Black, which has all the suiting, all the semi-formal, and all that kind of clothing, and comes with its shoes and accessories of the same category. Then we have Boss Green, which is more towards athleisure, gym wear, something C Marty would be more interested in. And then we have Boss Orange, which is more casual wear, right?
Yeah.
But of last year, we introduced this new brand line called Boss Camel, which is directly targeting this part of the business, which is logoless clothing and this old money fashion. And this jacket is one of the Boss Camel jackets. So if you see, the logo here has this camel color to it, and this is the identification for the Boss Camel line. So to your point regarding, is the shift happening? There is a shift happening in the market, and for that reason we have already positioned ourselves to cover that bit of the market with this upper premium luxury segment of Boss, which is this concept you're talking about.
Huh. Did not know that. Marty, I learned something new this morning.
Yeah, I did too. I had no idea. Would have
Yeah.
never known.
Yeah.
And
I
the new
honestly,
one, even as of January 2024, we have launched. So we have Boss and Hugo. Hugo would come with the color red, right? Now we have another brand launch called Hugo Blue, which gives an opportunity to even younger customers with better price points to enter our brand. So it's a more Gen Z driven brand, you could say, and it's
Mhm.
amazing. The product is lovely, and even doesn't matter your age group or your like interest. It's a very clean product.
Yeah.
And the price points are also pretty decent. So we can have another group of customers enter into our markets,
Interesting.
into our share. Yeah.
Interesting. We're talking to Faraz Jamal here, talking about his career at Hugo Boss, and Keith and C. Marty learning that Hugo Boss, which is one brand name, actually being two, multiple. You got Hugo, you got Boss, you got these different ones. I did not know that. So teaching us this morning here in the lab. See, Marty, we're always learning stuff here in the morning, man. We're always learning stuff here in the morning, which is why we get out of bed every day. But hey, listen, it's at this point in the show where we like to take that big light, see, Marty, and we like to find
someone else.
Exactly. We like to find somebody over on LinkedIn who we like the work they're doing for us, like Krasky creator ranking stuff, the creator spotlight stuff, and we like to get a light and we go, okay, who we like in here today? And boom, just shine the light on him, magnify the light and celebrate this human being. It's one of my favorite times on the show is to celebrate others. So today, nation, Marty, I got my soundboard ready, man. And no, Marty, I got no walking on the sand beach right now. I'm gonna leave that aside for next week, pal.
That was 2 days in a row. We need a break. We need a break from that.
So instead, I have this though.
Like waking up in the morning.
Hey, did you guys know Beverly Hills Cop 3 is coming out on Netflix? I saw the trailer this morning on with Eddie Murphy and Axel. I thought it was like 1978 again. Oh, wait a minute. You guys are still kids. I'm the old guy here. I'm the OG. So you guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, what did you say? I was like, maybe I'm missing out on the.
Man, I'm dating myself now.
Hey, Faraz, I'm with you, Faraz.
Yeah, I was like, some American thing that I'm missing out on, maybe.
Oh, gentlemen. All right, Creator Spotlight. It's not Axel Foley. It's not Eddie Murphy. I'm dating myself back to 1920. The Creator Spotlight today, gentlemen, we are going to shine the light on. We're going to shine the light. Get this. We're going to shine the light on Kelly Lease. Yes, Kelly. She's the owner, part-time executives, healthcare consultant, wellness program director, patient advocate. She joins us from New York City Metropolitan. While she's not on the show right now, she is a advocate for part-time for executives, healthcare consulting, wellness program. I'm repeating myself here, but she's a patient advocate with over 20 years of experience as a physical therapist. She owns and operates her own physical therapy practice where I treat patients in Jersey, New York City in person and via telehealth. She specializes in outpatient orthopedics, dance medicine, and Marty. She's worked extensively with executives, athletes, and performers. And hey, you know what I was thinking? We had our friend Christopher Keach here on the show here earlier this week. He needs to connect with Kelly because Chris is looking to talk with executives and athletes and performers. And clearly Kelly Lease works with those folks. So I met Kelly, guys. I met Kelly through our discussion with and about Krasky's creator rankings. And she put her hand up to say, hey, I want to help celebrate others across LinkedIn. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So Kelly and I have been talking quietly behind the scenes about encouraging this and building this Krasky creator rankings, this whole creator spotlight. But then I said to myself, see, Marty, she's so focused on wanting to celebrate everybody else. Why don't we celebrate her first?
Absolutely.
So Kelly, congratulations, my new friend. You are being celebrated today for the Krasky's Creator Rankings Creator Spotlight here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, friends, C. Marty Fit, Faraz Jamal joining us here today. So Nation, I would invite you and I would encourage you to go find Kelly Lease over on LinkedIn. She's doing some great stuff, creating great content. And hey, if you need a physical therapist, I think that Kelly Lease might be able to help you out, good gentlemen. So there's our Creator Spotlight for today. What's that, Marty?
I said Kelly Lee sounds like a beast.
I think she is a beast. Yeah, I'm getting the impression she works pretty hard. We try to connect along the way, and she's like, I've got this going on. I got to help this client. I'm like, awesome. So I don't suspect, see, Marty, she's somebody who's sitting around very often. Probably not. All right, so closing the last segment of the show here, gentlemen, we are going to work our way towards the finish line. 5, 6, 7 minutes left. Faraz, a question for you from me, which is, what was the most surprising part of embracing, being introduced to, and being a part of the high price, the high rolling fashion world?
Can you please repeat that question? I need a bit more clarity on how to answer that.
Yeah. So when you got involved with Hugo Boss, so I
Yeah.
have perceptions of high fashion. I have perceptions of the industry. I have perceptions of what it must be like working in this high rootin' falutin celebrities and fun and glamour and details. And there's a perception like nobody's dragging their ass, I suspect. Like, so when you first got into the industry, because you weren't sniffing around it, mom and dad are like, no, you're going to be this. Next thing you know, you're in this fashion industry, which I think in many ways operates in its own bubble.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So how have you adjusted to that for us?
so, as I mentioned to you above, right, before, right? One
Yeah.
is that you go to a company to just work in your field, let's say, a developer. So there's two ways of defining your career, right? One is to go work for that skill set. The other is that you want to go work in an industry, right? That I
Yes.
want to learn the business or I want to learn the skill. So for me, it was to learn this business. So I had my mental clarity before going into this industry that what I want is I was had clarity on that. So considering that, I was like first of all really amazed to see because coming from a let's say a traditional working culture to a high-paced fashion
Mhm.
space, it was a big transition. The culture, because the thing is like when you walk into the campus, it's like a fashion show happening. Everybody is dressed to perfection,
Wow.
and it is a little bit of pressure, but it is amazing because it's like when people bring them the best out of themselves out, it creates this positive vibe physically from the outside or personally from within. So obviously this gives this really nice, let's say, luxury vibes to the space. So you could see that everybody has a creative mind regardless of which space they're in. Then besides that, it is the exposure and the experience that it brought me. Celebrities and people like this, yeah, it's not that I'm having coffee with them on a daily basis, but still getting an interaction and
Mhm.
how this part of the world works. How does these influencer marketing happen? How do these kind of deals happen? This podcast wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in Boss. How did this happen? Because I wanted to mention this upfront as well, but now is the opportunity. So I was here and there active on LinkedIn before as well, but as of last year, Boss announced this influencer program where you could internally where you could apply, and then after your application they would choose a group of people, and they hired an external company that trained us for 3 months, and since then they are fully supporting us with all of our LinkedIn endeavors, right? So you could say we are official LinkedIn influencer for Boss. So opportunities like this don't come everywhere. First, it is yes, LinkedIn, which is a corporate, and then with it combine this premium fashion world. So it completes the definition of an influencer on a traditional way. So in that sense, the exposure that I'm getting through this, besides what I see inside, is just insane. I knew before this whole LinkedIn influencer thing, and I was in touch with him, but obviously the exposure that I'm getting via the company is
Mhm.
also really helpful. Like they last a couple of weeks ago, I was in this digital marketing festival here in Hamburg. They invited me and went there, presented the company, and obviously learned so much. So it is this whole package that was a wow factor. It still is a wow factor, and I am still amazed by that. This is something that I think everyone should experience in some form of way, because it's not only to be an employee, it's the experience that you get today is the experience that I can give tomorrow to my employees when I have my own brand or my own business or whatever the life takes me at. So in that sense, whatever I'm learning here today is a great example of what to give tomorrow if you are a leader or in such a position to do that.
Good on C Marty. Before I throw it to you to wrap it up with Faraz, good on for Hugo Boss for embracing what I think many companies struggle with, which is empowering their employees, their colleagues, their teammates to speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
So for them to say, you know what, we're going to teach Faraz and his colleagues how to speak on our behalf, represent us on their behalf. And so you're coming on the show, not only you Faraz, but you're proud Hugo Boss. You're talking about them as a brand. You're influencing us. You're making me think more about Hugo today. And I'll tell you what's working for me right now. I'm not thinking so much about Hugo Boss. I'm thinking about Faraz Jamal. I'm relating to Faraz. I'm liking Faraz, see Marty. So now I'll be honest with you guys, now when I go to the mall and I see the Hugo Boss star, I'm thinking of Faraz. I'm thinking of this engagement. Yes. I'm thinking about how you made me feel in our conversation today. So I'm bringing this up because To any business leaders right now, see Marty, that are listening to us, like pay attention to what Hugo is doing with Faraz, because I'm now intrigued by what's happening at Hugo because of my experience interacting with this gentleman right now. And that is the power of influence. That's the power of inspiring and empowering your humans to speak on your behalf. See, Marty, any closing words for you, my friend, before we say goodbye to Faraz and wrap up the show on a Friday?
Yeah, when I see boss, now in my mind, I'm going to be like, I'm at the big boy store.
You
This
are
is
gonna be
the
the
big boy
boss.
store.
Yeah.
I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I'm in the boss. Yeah, but just real quick, any like words of encouragement for anybody who wants to transition careers or different lanes? I feel like a lot of people are stuck in a career that they don't like. So any words of encouragement?
Yeah. So for this, I have a great example. Right after my graduation, a friend of mine flew from the UK, and they collected money to buy me a graduation gift. Right. So it was a decent budget, and at the time, obviously, I had a big passion for fashion and luxury, but my pocket size wasn't that big. I was straight out of uni. So they were like, what should we get you? So I was like, let's go into a Boss store. At that time, I have no plans of working for Boss, no idea you could work for Boss. It's just this brand that I knew from my dad. And I was like, this will be my first thing I buy from Boss, and using their money, right? So we go into the store, we look around, and then I find this product, and my friend buy it from me. It's a sweatshirt. I still have it. And then as I was thinking, I was like, when will be the day when I can wear these brands like it's nothing? And now it is the day that I go to sleep in Boss. So it is that, and it's just happened within the span of 3 to 4 years. So it is that what you imagine, when they say when you manifest it, it happens. And
Yes.
it is, I'm still like out of like words, like it actually happens. So guys, don't give up. Whatever you put your mind to, it will happen. It's just that you have to work hard for it. And besides that, if anybody still wants to talk or discuss about shoes, accessories, building fashion brands, or want to talk about product, just hit me up. I'm always happy to talk about such topics. And it can be anything from marketing to crypto to, but anything regarding business, hit me up. Will be interesting. And for you guys, if there's any advice you guys need on product from Boss, or to dress like a boss, I have a deeper knowledge into the product and could guide you if you guys are interested in that as well, especially shoes.
Exceptional, exceptional. Faraz Jamal, what a wonderful conversation today. See, Marty,
Absolutely.
I learned a lot on today's show, man. I learned a lot of things I wasn't really even aware of when it comes to the Hugo Boss brands. Faraz, thanks for sharing with that today. And you know what? You've given me something to think about. It would be great to have a conversation with yourself, maybe other brand leaders, to talk about luxury branding. Maybe we do a special Mornings in the Lab show where we invite marketers, executives, people to the show, where we host it, Keith and C. Marty, and we talk about building a brand. We talk about taking the extra step to put the different stitching inside the jacket. And maybe, Faraz, it's a chance for you to share some of the tips and tricks you've learned working for this high fashion branding. And so maybe we do like an event one day in the future where it's
And
Mornings in
also,
the
I
Lab
think you're
exclusive.
very well positioned for something like this, because what you're doing, nobody's doing on LinkedIn. And it is currently like a very B2B driven LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
Everything you either sell courses or a software, so you can make money. Otherwise, there's nothing to do on LinkedIn business wise. But with this new video concept coming in, I think that thing is now going to transform, and more B2C things will start happening on this platform, which includes sponsorships, right? So
Yes.
this is a plan, a vision in my head, which I'm using in my personal LinkedIn strategy as well,
Yes.
is to more be consumer driven than a business like B2B driven. And this kind of concept, maybe one someday companies will come sponsoring creators on this platform, because the current user of LinkedIn is a customer of majority of these brands. So this is a channel that is untapped, and that is what I'm trying to do. And I think I really appreciate you, Keith, as well, that and Marty, that you guys are doing this. This is a great
Absolutely.
initiative. Yeah,
For
and nobody.
sure.
I'll share with you, Faraz. You brought it up, and I'll shine a light back on the Bappel strategy here. What I'm doing with building this business here, Faraz, and you said it. I'm using LinkedIn. Keith and C. Marty are using LinkedIn because, in my experience, more than likely you can find a real human here. And then, more than likely, if you can find them as a real human, they probably have a wallet. And if they probably have a wallet, they might want to open it for you and spend money. And in my experience, that's how you build a business.
Word.
So you find them on LinkedIn, you connect with them. So here's how it's working. Okay, so now Keith and C. Marty are connected with Faraz on LinkedIn. Now we know we can extend this relationship with Faraz because he's real over on Instagram, on YouTube, on other social platforms. But it starts here. And then we extend that relationship everywhere else.
Yep.
because now I've validated Faraz is real, et cetera, et cetera. So there's the strategy we're rolling out here in the lab, guys. And Faraz is drinking the same Kool-Aid we are. Because wait a minute, the executive working for ABC company on LinkedIn, yes, he's B2B. He's still a consumer. I want him to get to know me so he can buy my shoes. Faraz?
Word, you got that right.
Exactly.
And that is why you should have a Keith and Friends merchandise dropping soon.
I know I've been hearing about the merch forever from my friend C Marty because he's done a wonderful job. Let's just call C Marty out for a second here for us. So C Marty's done a wonderful job. He's got a brand called Less Brunches, More Crunches.
Oh, okay. I saw that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So he works with human beings that have had this aspiration to go have brunch. And he's like, wait a minute. I think you want to do some more crunches and less brunches to get your kind of lifestyle back together. So so when I first met C Marty Faraz, he's been on this branding train. So that's why I think it'd be great to have a conversation on this show or a special event with Faraz, maybe other brand leaders, and bring C Marty in and help guys like C Marty who are like, okay, I'm launching this brand. What are these little 1% things I can do better to stand out from the other person?
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we are at overtime. We're at the top of the hour. Faraz, you have been awesome, man. You can come back here anytime. We say this all the time, pal. Once a guest of the lab, always a friend of the lab.
That's a good one. Put that also on a t-shirt on the backside. Once a friend of a it's a great phrase, man.
We're getting a lot of game here. Keith.
Yeah, getting a lot of game. I guess I'm spending money this weekend on merch, see Marty.
Let's get it.
I better get some commission off of that, huh?
Maybe we're making it Hugo Boss Mornings in the Lab merchandise. Just like Hugo has the Xenia stitching inside, the Xenia fabric, maybe our merch will be Hugo Boss labeled See Marty Fit. Or Boss, actually Boss.
Start at the top, huh?
That's it, exactly. Start at the top. All right, Nation, we're going to get out of here. Keith, C Marty Fit, and Faraz Jamal. Faraz, you were awesome, dude. Really appreciated your conversation.
Great episode, Faraz. Great episode.
Yeah, I really appreciated learning from you today. Like I said, you're welcome back anytime. If you have announcements, if you have something you want to talk about, if you have something that you want to get out to the market onto LinkedIn, you're like, hey, I got an announcement right now. We want to get it out instantly. Come join Keith and C Marty. We'll have a quick conversation. We'll chop it up and we'll distribute it instantly and immediately for you because we're moving into a world where you got to control your narrative.
Word, yeah. And this concept that you mentioned earlier regarding this fashion and discussion regarding businesses, maybe we could do some call like that and I could bring in a couple of products as well and we could talk about it.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd love that, man. I love fashion. Like yeah, me too. Me too.
So all right, guys. Stuff happening. You guys will love it as well. So
I think so. I think maybe. See, Marty, maybe at some point in our journey of this show, we'll have to end up in Germany on the Hugo Boss campus.
We have a TV studio here, so
yeah, do like a Mornings in the Lab on location with Faraz Jamal in Germany. See, Marty?
Let's do it.
That'd be lit.
Let's do it. All right, let's get out of here, guys. We're going into overtime. Jimmy's giving me a heck because we got stuff to produce. I'm like, I know Jimmy. All right. See, Marty, have an awesome day, Pat. I'm going to come knock on your door later, I'm sure. Faraz, we will see you in the feeds on LinkedIn. You come back, you tell your friends to come subscribe to the show, be on the show, etc., etc. Have a great weekend, everybody. Next week, big announcement, quickly, Monday, teasing a news show. News from the Lab is dropping Monday morning. Stay tuned. A news show with AI Keith and probably in the future, AI C Marty Fit. I'll leave that there. We are disrupting news next week in the lab. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later.
All right. Have a good one.
Ciao, guys.